Welcome back. In this video, we're going to read and discuss some AITAs. I've got Reddit pulled up. Let's jump right into it. AITA for giving away my husband and I's emergency fund. Probably. Let's read. My brother lost his job recently. His wife is a stay-at-home wife, no kids, and their emergency fund is running out quickly. He is in the process of finding a new job, but they're really struggling, and I felt bad not to help in any way. My husband and I, on the other hand, have 2 stable jobs and have an emergency fund that has excess money in it. 24 plus months worth of normal expenses. Dang. Wow. I can't even imagine, I wish. So I sent them a not too big portion of our fund just to relieve them some stress and buy them some time. My husband found out extremely quickly and now he's really, really upset, but I told him about my brother's situation and hoped he'd understand a bit. AITA, I feel like I probably am. Yeah, my first inclination is to go with a yeah, you are. If that was money that you both have decided that both of you decide what happens to it, it's for both of you, then both of you needed to be involved in the decision of giving it to the brother. You kind of like did first and then just hope to ask for, like, what is that saying? Like, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission or something like that. Is that the saying? Because I feel like that was the thinking here. Like, I told him about my brother's situation and hoped he'd understand a bit. That part should have happened before any money was given away. Like, you gave away your husband's money. Like, I understand it's yours as well, but like that's both of your money. You can't do things with it without both of you deciding. I don't know. I just can't really imagine also just being in a relationship where I'm super duper, like, me and my relationship is like really strong financially, and one of our family members is struggling, and my partner or husband wouldn't be willing to help. Like, that would just kind of, I can't really fathom that. I wouldn't be in a relationship like that. So from my perspective, I'm just coming from like, if you had just told the husband beforehand, it would have been fine. You wouldn't have been an asshole. In fact, you would have been a helper and a nice person. But it is... Did you just hear that wheeze? What the heck? What the heck was that? I haven't been a smoker for years. But, yeah, it's just, if it's both of y'all's money, that discussion should have happened before. It's really weird to spend huge purchases like that without telling your partner, I think. Let me scroll down and just read what the other people think. YTA, this was not only your money, but your husband's too. You just gave it away without even telling him, and it wasn't even an emergency, like an operation needed, home needed, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay, that's actually a good point, too, is like, the people were struggling. But what is, yeah, it's like, you're right. Thinking back on the way you described it, that doesn't really sound like an emergency to be giving out your emergency fund. If they're just struggling, like, people struggle sometimes. I think probably in that situation, I don't know that I would take money out of my emergency fund to help them out. Like, this commenter says, like, it wasn't an operation or, you know, a sudden accident or anything like that. It was just, they're kind of struggling. So I think that in that case, I would personally take my spending money and help them a little bit. Like, I wouldn't take that out of my emergency money. If I've got plenty of money to be sticking away for emergencies, that means I also probably have plenty of spending money for myself. I would just cut back a little bit on my spendings and stuff to help her with her spendings a little bit, rather than take money out of our emergency fund. You know what I mean? But even doing it that way, I would still make sure to tell my husband or partner that that's how I'm going to be spending my money. Like, if there's any changes or things like that, like, I feel like that should definitely be communicated, particularly over finances, you know? YTA, you gave away someone's money without even asking them. Moreover, the brother and spouse created this situation on their own. Why isn't the wife out there grabbing any job she can right now? Your brother is involuntarily employed, but she is voluntarily so. But I think that's a little bit like lacking on some information. I think like under normal circumstances for like modern relationships, both parties tend to work, and that's a normal. And so if one's out of work, you would kind of expect the other to kind of pick up that slack. But just coming from my perspective, where I have been in a more traditional relationship where the man pays the bills and the woman doesn't work, I've been in that for 4 years. Now that's like, I don't know even how to describe it. I don't want to go into too much detail, but like now that's rocky, and I'm trying to like think about, getting back on my own, like financing my own self or whatever. It's hard. It's so hard to get back into work after you've been out for years. Like, I don't know how long this stay-at-home wife has been out of work, but I've only been out like 3 or 4 years, and I'm finding it so hard to get back in. Not only just like my own self, like you have to overhaul your entire way of life and go do something new and different, which is just scary and hard as it is. But then there's another level to it of like when employees are looking at your resume and there's this huge gap, they just really lowers the interest, and you have a lot of explaining to do and all these things, right? So I'm not saying she couldn't go get a job. I'm just saying to just be like, well, she should just get a job. It might be missing a little bit of information. You know what I mean? And particularly with the story being that the husband absolutely intends to get right back to work. I don't know that it makes sense to do an entire life overhaul, restructure everything. Now he's the stay-at-home and she's the worker, when that would only be like such a short temporary thing anyways. But I'll also add on, if they're financially struggling because he lost his job, maybe she shouldn't be a stay-at-home wife though. You know what I mean? Like if you guys are cutting it so close, that like if he loses his job for any period of time, any short period of time, and you guys are struggling this badly, probably you guys need to become a dual income house, right? Like it doesn't seem like he's making enough to support. Like making enough to support means that if he's injured or can't work for any period of time, you guys are still okay, you know? I don't know. Pretty much every single comment is YTA. Every single one. See, I am like, maybe I'm just being I know for a fact I'm just being biased here, but a lot of these comments are just like, well, the stay-at-home wife should just get a job. And while, like, yeah, I don't disagree, but I also I don't like the way it's just being, like, so casually said, like, well, duh, obviously, she could just do that. Like, yes, she should do that, but I just don't want it framed as though, like, that's easy. It's not. I don't know. I think I'm just being too personal on that one. You are so beyond the a-hole. Even worse, and an untrustworthy one. At least to your husband, and he'll be right not to trust you. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, even if it's going to be a disagreement or an argument, the trust that you have in your relationship, that you know what I mean? Like, the trust that you have in your relationship is worth a disagreement or a fight here or there, because at least they can still trust you. Even if you've disagreed, the trust is not gone. You guys can still move forward after that disagreement. I feel like some stuff like this just, breaks that trust. Because now he's going forward like, well, what else is she doing without telling me? You know what I mean? It's just so simple as that. What else is she doing without telling me? If she's doing this, what other things are happening? Pretty much everybody kind of agrees with me. It's like, pretty much everybody agrees with me that, it's just YTA, because you needed to tell him first. That's his money too. This comment is funny. It highlights the thing where it says, so I sent him a not too big portion of our fund, which I picked up on. Not too big? Not too big? What's that mean? That sounds like you're trying to sugarcoat something. It sounds like it was big, frankly. Can't help but notice that you were being cagey about the amount that you stole from your husband. Yeah, see... Financial infidelity is no joke. Leaving a significant other out of a significant financial decision, regardless. I can't read all of a sudden. YTA, financial infidelity is no joke. Leaving a significant other out of a significant financial decision degrades trust in the relationship. Disagreements on finances and financial infidelity are one of the leading contributing factors to divorce. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely. Oh, this comment was just funny. That's mean. You didn't talk about this with your husband. You just gave it away. Hope when he divorces you, it will be deducted from your share. It's not mean, but like, holy crap. She's a stay-at-home wife with no kids. They chose this dynamic for themselves. If they need money, she can get a freaking job. They're grown adults, not you and your husband's children. That being said, you had chosen together to help them out. That's fine. You didn't involve your husband in this decision because you knew he wouldn't be on board. Reasonably so. Yeah, that's such a good point. Let me finish the comment. I know people who would end a marriage over what you've done. It's complete betrayal and a big F you to your husband. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. He says you didn't involve your husband in the decision because you knew he would say no. That's exactly like the big crux of it for me. You knew that this was something that your relationship wouldn't do, and yet you did it anyways. That's big. That's pretty big. Yeah, I feel like that's a resounding YTA on that one. Let's kind of move forward and read another, shall we? AITA for asking a girl, what's her highest level of education? I mean, first impressions is no. It does kind of depend on the scenario in which it was said. Like, was she just like wrong about something that you corrected her on, and then you're like, what's even your highest education? You know what I mean? No, obviously that. But that's not how it seems from the title. So let's just see what's going on. I'm from the UK, 33 female. I was at my dad's birthday party the other day, and we invited family and his close friends. My Uncle Harry recently divorced from his wife to be with someone younger. Mom and I are close to my aunt, so we have already had some dislike towards Jess, the new wife. Mom actually had invited Harry alone with no +1, but he brought her along anyways. Okay. It sounds like a weird dynamic from these people already. Actually, yeah. Okay. I'm just realizing. Yep. You are the a-hole for this, but let's... I'll read on before I cement that opinion. But it sounds like you're just picking on a girl that you already don't like just because, well, I'm friends with her and she don't like her, so I can't be friends with her. What, are you in high school? That's what this sounds like. I'm jumping to conclusions. Hold on. Jess looked super young, but she said that she was of age. Throughout the party, she shocked us with a few things she said. When we were talking about travel, she said Harry brought her to France and it was her first international travel and to a European country. Crowd was stunned, and she was denying that she is technically European and UK is in the European continent. We got angry and she said, "Are you lot not up to date? We left Europe ages ago." What's my highest level of education? Because of what? Harry brought her to France, and it was her first internet into a European country. Crowd was stunned, and she was denying that she is technically European, and UK is in the European continent. Okay. She's trying to say that this is her first time she's ever been to Europe when she lives in Europe. Like a European country, anyway. So, okay. She thinks north is up. She never locks her car because no one can start it without her keys anyways. She thinks having unprotected sex when pregnant with one baby will create twins. This is just what I can remember. Yeah, you're just being a mean girl. You're just being a mean girl. Even if she's a little dumb, why are you like going out of your way to point it out just because you already don't like her? This is kind of just giving mean girl vibes. This is just what I can remember. Just so you know, we didn't really ask her all of this. Conversation with other ladies went over these subject matters, was hijacked by her each time, and she gave her thoughts on it. She's trying to... Sounds like you're being super mean. It sounds like she's trying to include herself in a conversation where she doesn't know people very well. Like, she's trying to relate herself to what the other people are saying. The part where I got irritated was when my mom's friend was asking how many fertility treatments we were going. I'm on hormonal drugs to induce ovulation. Jess chimed in saying that those drugs won't do any good and that I just have to eat right to repair myself. She went on and on about how her friend who is strictly vegan is on her third now. I merely asked her what's her highest level of education out of curiosity. She capitalized out of curiosity to emphasize that, because if she only had high school or had a learning disability, I was going to go easy on her. No, it wasn't out of curiosity. It was out of anger. You literally just said that she said something to you that you didn't like about you. And out of curiosity, you just choose that. No, you're out of anger. Stop it. Yeah, she's being dumb. Don't get me wrong. This girl sounds dumb as fuck. She sounds kind of rude. She sounds like she's not really fitting in with your fam. But you also sound like you're being mean. Apparently, that was wrong to ask. She soured and tugged Harry to leave the house. Dad is now telling me to apologize for being rude. Harry told him that she kept throwing tantrums about me being very arrogant and rude to her. See, it's just the way, I really highly doubt that Harry used the word throwing tantrums about his own wife. The way you're talking about her is so awful. Dad said Jess grew up in an abusive home and had a rough upbringing. As if that will explain her behavior and lack of general knowledge. What? I'm getting angry now? Yes, it literally will. Yes, it literally will. Like, growing up in a horrific environment like that literally causes mental disorder and... Okay, let me calm down a sec. As if that will explain her behavior. No, that literally does. Like, that makes you very unsure of yourself and your world and everything. Now, I do feel a teeny tiny bit bad for what I said now that I know her troubles, but she sort of hit a sore spot. Thank you for finally admitting it. But she sort of hit a sore spot telling me what to eat as if I hadn't consulted a professional to repair myself. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That, again, thank you for finally admitting it in the end, is that it wasn't asked out of curiosity, as you said before, but that it was actually asked out of anger. The things she was saying you didn't like. The things she was saying hit a nerve with you. She was giving you advice that you didn't think was good advice, that you didn't ask for, you didn't want. And so you're being mean to, it's like, I don't know, man. I feel like sometimes with family gatherings like that, you just have to play nice, you know? And even when you're annoyed by the other person, like, understand that it sounds to me like this girl was trying to play nice. It really does. It sounds like she was trying to just involve herself in conversation, you know, talk about their topics that they're bringing up and give her opinions on it like everyone else was. Just because you don't like her opinions doesn't mean she's being nasty to you. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like sometimes our emotions kind of overwhelm us and we're like, oh, I don't like that, so therefore it was obviously meant as something. It's like that, just because your feelings took it as something doesn't mean it was meant as something. That's something that I personally had to, like, really, really cement and remember in myself. Because when my feelings get hurt, it's like, oh no, like, my logic will just go run away and just be like, oh no, like, obviously this and this happened, and that's why you're, like, purposely trying to make me upset right now. It's like, sometimes you just got upset, and they didn't mean to make you upset at all. And I think that's what's going on here. She genuinely was just trying to help. And is she my kind of person? No, I don't think I would like her. I don't think I would enjoy being around her either. But would I be cordial and pleasant with her while she was at a family function with me? Yeah. Would I invite her to my things and stuff? Probably not. But, like, if it's a whole family gathering and one of my family members brings their family member, I'm gonna just be nice, you know? Let's read some of the comments. Yeah, see? I don't know what ESH. Oh, everybody sucks here, right? Gentle, everybody sucks here. Okay, see, the top comment is exactly agreeing with. Usually my opinions are, like, really different than the comments, but in this video so far, they've been all the same. The top comment is, gentle, everybody kind of sucks here, which is exactly what I said. I merely asked her out of curiosity. I don't quite believe this quote. You concede that you were already irritated by this point. The question feels targeted specifically to take her down a peg. And frankly, after suffering through all the nonsense spewing out of her mouth, you already knew everything you needed to know about her intellect. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't a genuine question out of curiosity. And she even admitted that towards the end of the story. But that was not out of curiosity. That was specifically a dig back because you didn't like what she said to you. Well, it was more polite than asking if she'd ever been denied oxygen for a long period of time. See, a lot of people are just jumping on because, yeah, this girl seems kind of like a pain. NTA. Honestly, as soon as anyone offers me unsolicited medical advice, I ask them where their medical degree is from. So I can't really fault you for this one. It sounds like you held your tongue on a lot of bullshit. I don't know if I could have been gracious all along. There's several a-holes in this story, but especially the big hairy one who seems to be skating by with no questions or details, still getting invited to family events despite some seemingly reprehensible behavior. I don't understand that. I'm gonna just move on. Everybody's saying NTA. This one says YTA, just for using learning disabilities to mean dumb. I know 2 dyslexic PhD. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, yes, this Jess girl seems awful. I feel like I would hate her. But you're also being mean. And the question is, are you being an asshole? And yes, you're being an asshole. Like, you know what I mean? The question isn't, does this girl deserve you being an asshole? The question is, are you being an a-hole? And yeah. Thank you. I'm not really impressed with OP's attitude that people who don't pursue higher education must be stupid. Not everyone, including very intelligent, lovely people, have the funds and time to pursue higher education. I'm not going to read the rest of that comment, but... yeah. I'm going with everybody sucks here. No, that's ridiculous. Everybody's basically saying, like, NTA, she shouldn't have tried to give you medical advice. Yeah, she should have. IMO, because that's literally the conversation that was happening. I don't know. You know what? Maybe I take that back. I don't know. Maybe the conversation wasn't necessarily asking for advice. Maybe it was just phrased as telling them what she was doing, and that kind of, I don't know. Again, though, like, you are being an a-hole. I agree. Most of the comments kind of do agree with me, though, that everybody sucks here. Because, yeah, Jess seems awful. Harry seems awful. But also so does OP. Let's see if we can find another one. Oh. AITA for forcing my niece to babysit my autistic son for free. Forcing your niece to babysit your son for free? I'm trying to think of, like, my off-the-top opinion. I'm pretty divided. I don't know. Like, yes, some level of just helping out fam is kind of required. But also, it just, like, some level, not all the... I don't know. Let's just read. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm a single dad to an 11-year-old son who is autistic. The way his autism presents is mainly through his personality. He's very smart, quiet, and prefers to get lost in the land of firearms and elevators. He's genuinely a really good kid. I have quite a few friends that don't like being around kids but still adore him. I have a 19-year-old niece who's staying with me for a few days to go to a concert. A couple days ago, my cat got sick with symptoms I'd never seen before. Given that vets out here always book a few weeks out, I had to take him to an emergency vet. Excuse me. I told my niece to just stick around and watch my son while I run the cat down there. She said she's child-free, so she doesn't babysit. I told her it'd just be for a few hours and that she knows my son well enough and he'd be at the most just asking for something to be warmed up for him. She went, pay me and it's a deal. I told her we could hash something out later because I had to get going. She said, then you go, but we will talk later. Okay, I'm kind of forming an opinion here. He's doing you big favors and he's having an emergency. You can't do him a bit of a favor? I got back from the vet with a diagnosis of my cat being allergic to my niece's perfume. Oh my god, the whole thing was caused by her too. Which she wears because it helps her feel closest to her favorite singer. My niece was pissed because she couldn't wear her perfume anymore, so she demanded $100. I told her no because I wasn't making her throw it away, and 2, she's staying here for free and I'm already paying for her food and transit. It was also only 3 hours, which she would have spent on her phone anyways. While she admitted he just stayed in his room the whole time. She accused me of guilt tripping her, and she got my brother to buy her a hotel room because apparently I gaslit and manipulated her. My brother, of course, went off on me about how I ruined her trip and demanded compensation for the hotel because he had put everything on his credit card. Yep. Oh my God. I'm so vehemently, you know who's the a-hole here? What was it? His brother. You know who's the real a-hole here? Is his brother. Because I freaking hate it when nasty, entitled, disgusting, ill-behaved children go around acting nasty, and then when someone is very reasonable, is like, hey, you're being nasty, knock it off, the parent comes in swinging. Like, that's why the kids are so entitled and nasty, is because these parents have constantly reinforced that, yes, you should be nasty, you should be entitled. And in fact, when you are, you'll get good things. Positive outcomes will happen when you're nasty. If you don't offer to help out, even when people are helping you, you want to be like a trouble. And when someone points out that your perfume is causing some big problem, you're going to have a problem about it's like that behavior only comes around from horrific parenting. Every time that kid did anything nasty, you handed him a cookie. Anytime that kid did anything nasty, you bought him a freaking hotel room and told him, oh, it's okay, the world is so mean to you. And it's just irking actual heck out of me, because it's just making the world become a just horrific place to live in. Like, you try to go to Walmart and there's some nasty entitled lady screaming that she should be in the front of line, or all these weird, like, people are just so incredibly entitled now, and it's because parents raise their children to be so. You look at your sweet little angel and you're like, oh, my baby would never do anything wrong. You must be the problem. No, you, sir, are the problem, because you're teaching your kid that they're never the problem, and everybody else is just so mean to them. And I'm getting angry. But it's just something that's really been on my mind a lot lately, and it's becoming like a bigger issue where people are just so entitled and nasty because our parents are teaching us to be. NTA, the most I would have given her is $20 if her trip is ruined because of her self-entitlement. That's on her. Thank you. Self-entitlement. The OP commented back, she was basically telling my brother that she didn't know if she was mentally able to attend the concert now that all of this happened. She did, however, look very happy in the photos from the concert. See, I hate this. NTA, but I have to ask, you sound like a grown-up person, mature, and a good dad and a nice guy. Do you really think that there's a chance in hell that you were the a-hole in this situation? See, I'm like, okay, he's saying he's also autistic, therefore there's many times where he didn't necessarily, it's okay. That kind of makes, because again, that genuine question, because that seemed super obvious to me that you weren't. But again, if you're autistic and you have a little bit more difficulty like figuring things out like that, then sure, come on here and ask, you know what I mean? There's plenty of times where I didn't know I was the a-hole until it was pointed out a lot later, so I just like to kind of double check. That makes sense. That's not what child-free means. And when you're getting free room and board, you help with house chores, including staying where you are for 3 hours in the same home as a kid in case the house catches fire. NTA, your niece is and might be getting it from her brother, it seems. Yep. Glad everybody's picking up on that. Who's the real a-hole here? The brother. The brother. How old was this kid? Did it... Oh, my 19-year-old niece? See, it's kind of a 19. It's kind of a frustrating thing, because here's the thing is, when they're kids acting nasty like that, it's the parents' fault. The parents are training you to act like that. When you become an adult and you are still acting like that, I understand it's difficult for you. I acknowledge that. But it is still your responsibility to change the way you behave and think. It is. It becomes your responsibility. And that sucks for you. It's really freaking hard. I completely understand. I'm very biased on this. Like, I was raised with a particular type of thinking that was freaking horrible for me. And when I reached adulthood, I continued that thinking that was just like, oh, poor me, poor me, poor me. And my life just went to shit. It wasn't until I took responsibility for, yeah, that was the way I was raised, but this is the way I should start thinking now, that my life started to improve. This kid's only 19, though. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm 32, and I just now started to realize that, like, oh, I need to kind of rethink things for myself and be responsible for myself because of such a bad upbringing. So it's like, I don't really feel like much of the blame is on her at 19, while she is technically an adult now. It's just like that's a young kid. I just, more than anything, I would love for this OP to take on this extreme huge responsibility that shouldn't even be their responsibility, to try to change the mindset of that kid a little bit. But that idealistic, you know. Yeah, I'm going with NTA on that one. All right, let's close it there. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that little thumbs up down below. Subscribe while you're hanging out there. Please comment for engagement, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.